Hey everybody, this is Graybeard Gaming. It's here, but I thought I'd try this Pioneer Challenge on New Hope, brought to you by the Tennessee Farmer. So I'm going to go over this really quick. First things first, you start off with $250,000 in cash, but you also have a $250,000 loan. You cannot take more loans until the first one is paid off. You must also start with a starter farm, and you must use each piece of equipment at least one time before selling it. After you've used it, you are allowed to sell it off. Further, the next thing that we have to do is you have to develop 3 farms separate of each other, that each farm has its own livestock that you are raising, which is kind of interesting and kind of a nightmare. So the next step is you also must plant 6 good-sized rows of olives, and I don't know how to do olives, so that's going to be a challenge in of itself. Next thing that I heard him say was that we are also required to sell 50,000 liters of flour, which is an interesting addition and might be a complete pain to ultimately keep track of. And beyond that, you must have paid off your loan, and you must have $5 million in profit. Now, I believe that is all the stipulations, so let's get into it and see what we get for our starter equipment. Looks like we've got a lot of hours on all of these. The tractor, the combine, they all have a ton of hours. I have this set up to normal economy, because it's going to get expensive in a hurry to do olives, as it's also going to be expensive to have 3 different animal types. So I am really not looking forward to any of that, but we will do it. First things first, though, I believe we have a field of wheat, which we can start harvesting. Wheat or barley or canola, something. So yeah, we're going to do that. Now, as far as fields, while we're driving, we currently own farmland 12, farmland 4, and farmland 11. 11 is a giant field of wheat. So we actually do have multiple fields that we could develop into a farm. So I'm gonna get started though on harvesting this wheat. That's just so that we can get a general idea of what we've got going on. So if I'm looking, owning those 2 sections is cool. Oh no, and I am driving through my own wheat because I was not paying attention. Do not do that. Alright. Let's see if I can't get myself turned around here. What I am going to do is I'm going to hire a guy to just start getting this wheat field done, because I don't know what all I have. I need to use everything, and I'm kind of confused. So let's go ahead and just get started. Awesome sauce. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get a guy hired, go and do that. I don't need to do that yet. I do need to get a few things taken. Okay. So everything has to be used at least once. That's where I'm going to struggle the most, you guys. I just don't know how I'm going to utilize everything at least one time. I did not realize, I thought we only had 2 pieces of property, but if we have 3, I may actually sell this one and purchase this one. But I do want to see how flat it is. I'm not keen on doing a lot of woodwork, forestry work. I might have to though. I don't know. But the thing I'm looking at is how flat this current little section is. It's nice. I like that. That little area in between, I do like how flat it is. So that might be something that I want to take advantage of almost immediately. Alright, so what we're going to do though is we're going to look into used equipment. I want to see what we have for grassland equipment. Now we have used vehicle sales turned on to get better used equipment, but I'm not using the extreme, which would give us like anywhere from 40 to 70 or 80, 90% off. The one I'm using, I have to look it up, but it's only given us like anywhere from 20 to 50 or 15 to 50% off. Ooh, that's a good deal on a baler. I'll probably pick that one up. But what I am looking for is I'm looking for a nice, powerful tractor and a larger cultivator. This will pick up good sized bales, but it's only going to pick up round bales. So I'll have to look for a round baler. Just going through the used sales. Now this is not a bale trailer necessarily. I mean it is, but it isn't. This one is a bale trailer that you can drive up on, and it does logs. This actually might be with timber poles. I'm not sure. That might actually be quite the addition. But I don't have to get those right now, because default has the front wall, side walls, timber poles, front wall, and this might be the one to go with because I can drive up on it. So I'll keep an eye out. I might get that. It just seems like a good deal. I am going to buy this one. No doubt about it, because it plants pretty much everything except for potatoes. And that's actually something I want to do is potatoes. So I am kind of concerned because I don't have a way to plant them. This is an auto load trailer. That might be something I want to get. Let's just, while we're harvesting, let's go ahead and get started in on equipment I want to buy. So I'm going to buy this because it just makes good sense. Working speed, I have it set where I can, speed up a little bit here, and that's just so I can get through more stuff quickly. Yada yada yada. I'm going to buy that. All right. We are going to purchase. I want to purchase that one. I do want it in that color scheme. I'm going to go with default. Yep, buy that. All right. Going to purchase this guy. And I think we're going to put our first grain mill right there. That's so that we can get our 50,000 liters of grain and get started on it. Alright, so let's see what else we've got over here. We've got our drill and our cultivator. Just going to get things moved. I don't like this piece of property. I also don't want to have as much money to play with as I've currently got. So I'm going to make life a little bit harder by getting rid of some money. Now the tractors and harvester, they're not worth a whole lot because of how many hours they have on them. So I'm going to be honest, I'm probably going to keep them. And just upgrade and deal with the ramifications later. Alright, looks like we have a full tank now. Can't plant the olive trees until spring, so I'm gonna be looking for that space. I don't know where I'm gonna plant them, but it is something that is on my mind. I just don't know what I'm gonna do just yet, so stay tuned for that, I guess. To me, that's the biggest hang-up on this entire challenge. The Pioneer Challenge, I mean, it was started in FS22, but the Tennessee farmer wants to bring it back over to here, which I can't really blame them, but it is going to be a real challenge because I don't know how to do olives. I'm not keen on the idea of it either, so it's going to be interesting to say the least. I can't believe I've already spent $100,000 and I've got nothing done. But we'll just go ahead and get started on our next thing. Probably switch tractors around too. I don't need, per se, I don't need this one, which is a little bit more powerful doing this task. I would rather get my this one doing the work on developing a field. And before I get too crazy on spending money, I still need things. But let's go ahead and dump this into our thing here. And what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump in and change some of my settings because I haven't done that yet. So first and foremost, I want to change my speed to 2x. Traffic can be on. I don't think there's any anyways. Difficulty is normal. Days per month 1 off. Snow is on. Crop destruction's on. Periodic plowing required. We're going to leave that off. Don't need to deal with that. Fieldstone we're going to leave on. Weeds on. Disaster destruction enabled. Vehicle control. This is where I change things. I hate automatic engine start, so I'm going to turn that off. Slow on dirt just because why? I mean, it doesn't matter. Fuel usage, we'll go with normal. AI workers, we're going to turn all these to off. We don't need them buying anything for us. All right. So, things that we're still going to need to buy. We're going to need to buy lime. We're going to have to figure out our animals There's a lot of stuff we're going to have to figure out. But I'm going to go ahead and get this tractor down to the store so that we can go ahead and start with picking stuff up, because I've got a lot. Now, we have to have, animals. So the first one I'm thinking of is, because I've got wheat, chickens. It just makes sense. So we'll start with wheat, getting chickens going. Going forward for next year, I'll get something else. But I have 3 fields, so it makes sense. If I don't sell any of them, it would make sense to, say, make my 3 farms right here, like have one up here, one over in here, and then another one up in here somewhere. And then I don't have to buy more land, and I can have my 3 separate farms. The only reason I was thinking about selling that one, and I'm not going to now because money is already dwindling fast. And the only reason I'm not going. The only reason I wanted to do it the other way was because I was like, oh, I can have all 3 properties right together. But then I realized I've got to have 3 different farms. So, yeah. I'm only going to have 1 farmhouse, guys. I'm not going to go that, quite that extreme. But yeah, I think getting a chicken farm going just makes a lot of sense. This little trailer here is not nearly as big as I thought it would be. That's all right. This other trailer has any sort of a hitch on it. Does not appear to have one. Got time. First piece on there. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on the trailer, but I am surely going to try. Well, it's not conventional, but I think we can get it there once we strap it all down. And let's get her back home. Just trying to figure out where I have to get this taken to unload my harvester. Okay, guys, let's find ourselves a chicken pasture that we are going to be happy with. Holds quite a few chickens. I'm just trying to figure out where the eggs are going to where do the eggs come out? It's a lot of chickens that we can do there. That's too expensive. And I think we can just do this one like so. That gives us a shed too. Alright. So we've got a thing for chickens, we've got a thing for a production. So we're on our way, you guys. I think we're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go ahead and finish off camera with the harvest, and then I'll bale it. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. It's Graybeard Gaming signing off of the Pioneer Challenge. See you next time.